Where there is great need for service. And where there is need for service, there are those who will rise to meet the challenge. Royce Makanya is one of those people. Royce is a Lutheran Hour Ministries volunteer working through LHM South Africa to make a difference in the lives of the people of his native Zimbabwe by taking them the life-giving gospel. His story is one of faith, courage, sacrifice, and a commitment to serving God's purpose in the face of impossible odds. It's the story of one volunteer who's determined to bring food to the hungry and the message of hope to the hopeless. Zimbabwe. This landlocked country in southern Africa, formerly called Rhodesia, gained independence in 1980, following a decades-long war. The young nation of Zimbabwe soon began to enjoy prosperity and economic growth unmatched by any other nation in the region. 28 years later, however, the country is faced with a deepening crisis. The people of Zimbabwe enjoy limited freedoms. Corruption and failed government policies have sent the nation into an economic freefall. Record inflation, upwards of 160,000%, means that the average person going to buy a loaf of bread would need to take at least 200 million Zimbabwean dollars. They typically take more because prices increase without warning. In fact, many stores have taken to displaying prices on a chalkboard. Add to that an 80% unemployment rate, and the fact that Zimbabwe also carries the crushing burden of supporting nearly 1.8 million people living with HIV/AIDS, and it doesn't take a sociologist or political scientist to see the country is in dire shape. It does, however, take an honest and sacrificial commitment to spread hope to those who need it the most. Royce Makanya is a school teacher, and even though he earns a relatively decent salary, his family can only afford to eat porridge at every meal. Once in a while, they can have some fruit. Meat, however, is out of the question. As little as 5 years ago, Royce's hometown of Kwekwe was a bustling mining center. Today, with fuel being a scarce commodity, the roads are virtually deserted. Royce, like so many others, walks everywhere. Over the years, it pained Royce to watch his students, so energetic and eager to learn, knowing they had very few prospects to look forward to. But he knew that true lasting hope could only come from Christ. Little did he realize that an opportunity to serve was just around the corner. In the summer of 2007, while on vacation in South Africa, Royce came into contact with LHM South Africa staff while attending a church service in Johannesburg. They invited Royce to come and visit the LHM Ministries Center. On his first visit, Royce watched some DVDs and read materials from the small library. He began to frequent the Ministry Center, and soon Royce enrolled in a Bible correspondence course. In the weeks that followed, he also completed ETS training. He even volunteered his time to do some things around the office. Through ETS, or Equipping the Saints Evangelism Workshops, Lutheran Hour Ministries staff helps strengthen volunteers' understanding and interest in witnessing. These workshops have been held in every region of the world and provide laypeople like Royce with the practical tools needed to reach out and witness to the unchurched. It is estimated that approximately 3 to 4 million Zimbabweans are currently living outside the country's borders. Most have left in search of job opportunities and a better standard of living, or to escape political persecution. For Royce to have remained in the more politically and economically stable South Africa would have been a logical choice. Instead, Royce requested BCC lesson materials, topical booklets, and ETS information before taking the 15-hour bus ride back to Kwekwe. This turned out to be the right decision because within 2 weeks of returning to his hometown, Royce had already enrolled 8 new Bible correspondence course students. That Royce returned to Zimbabwe rather than stay in a safer, more promising South Africa might seem a dangerous move, but his decision, like his faith, is governed by obedience. Today, Royce is utilizing ETS materials in locations inside Zimbabwe. He's also working with a local Lutheran pastor in Kwekwe, Pastor Lawrence Maposa, who's enthused about the LHM training materials he's seen so far. Royce is also utilizing his experience as a teacher to help Bible correspondence students work through the lessons. As he collects the BCC questionnaires, Royce writes down the names of those who complete each lesson. He promises that when they finish an entire course, he'll give them a t-shirt. Recently, Royce visited South Africa and took a few old computers and some scarce foodstuffs like salt and beans back to Kwekwe, along with a cash donation. Bringing food and supplies into Zimbabwe is fraught with peril. Often these gifts of assistance are either stolen or confiscated by corrupt officials for their own consumption. But God made a way, and all of these gifts went towards helping those people in Royce's community faced with the greatest spiritual and physical needs. Through all the challenges and regardless of the circumstances, Royce reminds us to pray for the people of Zimbabwe. The essential work of Lutheran Hour Ministries International Ministry Centers is blessed and strengthened through the prayer and financial support it receives from donors here in the United States and worldwide. Whether it's gifts made by faithful individuals or raised through church or district-wide efforts, these donations give hope, and more importantly, the gospel to people who are hurting in ways we might find hard to comprehend. Without financial support, adequate training materials explaining the good news of Jesus Christ might not be readily available. Individuals who teach and lead others to share the gospel might not be equipped. Ministry center staffing and material needs would not be fully met. And willing volunteers like Royce may never realize their potential to share the message of salvation with a nation in despair. Today, please prayerfully consider your role in helping those in South Africa and elsewhere around the world by giving Lutheran Hour Ministries a gift that takes the light of His Word to a world so desperately in need of it. Thank you.